Hello and welcome back to Softcore History, Normal Edition. My name's Jake Goldman. I'll be your host for today. As always, I'm joined by Dan Regester and Rob Fox. Dan,
little inside joke for the Patreon members.
Yeah, normally you get a way cooler intro if you're on the Patreon, which we have. Go to softcorehistory.com.
Yeah, you got to pay for that.
Or I'm sorry, go to patreon.com/softcorehistory. Give us $5 a month. Do it. You get 2 extra episodes a week. It's the best deal in content.
Because there's also a monstrous, humongous back catalog of content that is green forever.
Yep. 2
Forever
years
green.
of content. You get a community Discord. Make friends with everybody.
Yeah, and it's active, folks.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
That's what I've
haven't been in there in a while.
That's what I've
I
heard.
am the only person that goes on
I go
it,
in
but
there once every now and
just-
then. Yeah,
Rob's too good for it.
I go in. I will say I go in, and I'll drop some bars and then bounce.
I'll try to get in
It's
there.
an
again.
exclusive club, like
It is an
Augusta,
exclusive
you know?
club. Speaking of exclusive clubs, Dan, you're looking awfully merched out today.
I
Where
know.
were you? Were you in Augusta?
Where was I? Yeah.
Very Augusta.
Went to the pro shop and left.
Yeah, that's
I stocked up so I could resell on eBay.
a move. That is the move right there.
Bought like 12 gnomes.
you get some stuff shipped.
No, I fit everything in my suitcase. So
Nice.
just got a bunch of stuff from my dad and my mom and my friend Matt back home.
Mm.
And myself, of course.
Yeah,
So-
cool.
Yeah, you're wearing it.
I know. We're doing an episode on Augusta for the Patreon this week. That's why I'm wearing it.
Okay.
It's not
Must
just
be a
because I
fun
wanted
history.
to flex.
yeah. Yeah.
It is pretty douchey to do. I wore it to the airport too.
Double lettered.
Fuck it.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
It's the time.
Is it worse than it's actually? And I'm going to answer my own rhetorical question here. It's not worse than, say, someone flying back or to the Super Bowl in their trash NFL gear. You know what I mean? Like, just you don't need to wear your Travis Kelce jersey to the fucking airport. Just
Man,
get on the plane.
Support the team, dude.
That hits hard.
Are you anti-jersey?
No, I own jerseys.
Okay.
But I am anti, like, I don't know, wave your flag on the, like, you got to wear it all weekend type of thing.
Yeah. Just wear a shirt.
Or, like, starting a chant on the plane.
EAGLES.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's garbage. It's better for your school. I have more sympathy for a university doing it than I do for, like, freaking Eagles fans or something.
You're not an NFL fan because the Rams moved. We get it.
I was barely an NFL fan when they were there.
The way to fly on a plane is to wear pants and
Are you-
closed shoes, and you are quiet, and you don't jump up on the plane when it lands, and you are quiet, and you listen to your shit, and you say, "Oh, excuse me," if you need to get around someone, and that's it.
I like to wear open-toed and open-soled shoes on a plane.
Open sold, so
Yeah.
just like you paint on a flip flop.
Yeah.
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 I typically wear my Lululemon short shorts.
Lululemon shorts.
Really show off the grundle.
Something about like the back of my leg just touching the airport seat. I'm like, that's kind of gross.
I had the emergency row on the way back. It was
That
nice.
is lovely. That is lovely. Well,
I was not prepared to help in case of an emergency, but
You're just going to open the door and get the fuck out.
I'm here for the leg space.
Yeah.
Well, some would say that the person we're talking about today caused a few emergencies in our lifetime. Typically, when discussing history, we talk-
Jesus Christ.
yeah, it was a emergency of faith.
Oh,
talking
I
about
wasn't
Jesus.
actually talking about
Muhammad
Christ.
Moses caused 10 emergencies.
He did.
Each one worse than the last.
Each one worse than the last. And then
We don't speak his name. He's like Voldemort here.
Moses.
Moses?
Don't say it more than 3 times.
Well, you have to be in a mirror, though.
Yeah, and the light has to be off.
Yeah,
and
it's
you
like
have
Bloody
to,
Mary.
You have to be holding matzah.
And we certainly don't say another name.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's
Well,
that's off
Rob
limits.
just said it like 6 seconds
Yeah.
ago, but
We also made a horrible, horrible joke that's going to get us murdered. It's not even actually a bad joke, but it will get us murdered because they're not a very humorous people.
No, I'm ready to go to war, I guess. I've accepted I'm probably
for the
getting
right
drafted.
to tell that joke.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
No,
No.
for your people, Jake.
Yeah, dude, thanks, I guess. Your people too.
Like 0.001%.
Oh,
now it's-
yeah. This is just like the Crohn's. It's convenient when he wants it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, I conquered Crohn's with my mind.
I'm
and then
part
it's like,
Jewish.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
it's like, dude, you were on the toilet for a while. I have Crohn's, my tummy.
I don't want to
You
go to
shit
war.
like 12 times more than me every day.
I know, because I love shitting. Because
Shitting
I
is
love shitting.
pooping's good.
I can control my poop.
Most people can.
Mhm.
Get this. Most people
Yeah,
after
I
the age of
can
like
too.
4.
And I'm like, you know what I'd like to do? Poop. And so I go and I poop.
If I have a giant meal, though, I'm like, I want to cleanse myself out.
yeah. Absolutely.
I want to keep on the LBs.
I get like literally furious when I'm constipated.
You get mad.
I get
You
angry.
get grumpies.
I'm like, get out of me.
I can't remember the last time I was.
Constipated.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever read those stories about people who fuck themselves in the butt with their turds?
High
Bro.
class comedy today.
Yeah.
We were demonetized now. We're
Yeah,
demonetized.
I'm just saying,
again.
I've been down some Reddit holes.
We've been getting demonetized here on the
Yeah.
YouTubes.
whatever.
YouTube.com/softcore history. Go ahead and check that out. Leave it on for the dogs.
Leave it on for the dogs. But yeah, while discussing history, we talk about some of the greatest minds of all time. Whether their inventions brought about positive change or negative, their genius is obvious and worthy of discussion. For instance, many people believe the atomic bomb might be the single worst invention of all time, and there's plenty of merit for that.
Who?
Nerds.
Pacifists, yeah. And the verdict is that Oppenheimer was a mixed bag, as far as morality and redeemability. But there's no arguing he was really fucking smart. He's a smart guy.
Also, this wasn't the purpose of the atomic bomb, and it's really just sort of an unintended consequence potentially. But I think I've said this on the show before. I love the argument that it saved lives because great powers couldn't go to war anymore.
Yeah, I mean, there's an argument. There's a potential that more lives could have been saved.
As soon as the world globalized, I know I've said this before, as soon as the world globalized, it had 4 world wars immediately. Immediately 4 world wars. The 7 Years' War, the Napoleonic Wars, then you take 100 years off, basically, and you get World War I and World War II.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's stuff going off, though, on the East that we just don't even talk about.
Well,
we covered it last week.
Those are
but
inter-country.
yeah. That's just look,
It's a civil
obviously
war.
every 20 years there's going to be a Chinese civil war where 100 million people die. That's
It's the equivalent of a world war on the human level.
scale.
But
yeah. But it kept great powers.
what about China, Rob?
What about China? Well, hey, they have nukes, so they can't fight either anymore.
Yeah. Well, there are plenty of brilliant inventors of terrible things. However, the focus of our episode today is not just an inventor of terrible things, but one that is outright terrible himself. He's a terrible inventor of terrible things.
Wait, he's bad at inventing terrible things?
We're finally doing the Da Vinci episode.
We're not doing Da Vinci, no. His name is one you probably wouldn't recognize, and that's unfortunate because it should be synonymous with giant piece of shit that did nothing but make the world worst.
But if you make a device to, say, torture toddlers, but it ends up just tickling them, are you evil?
You're just bad at your job.
No, this is just a different level of incompetency that's worse for everybody.
Okay.
It's incredible, really.
Okay. Because I think if you accidentally invent something, a toddler tickle machine that was meant to kill them, but they just love it.
No, he's not bad at inventing terrible things. He's terrible at inventing good things, and therefore his inventions are terrible.
Yeah, but then, Rob, you're a pedophile. You'd rather be a murderer of children.
Yeah.
That's so crazy. How
It's
that,
literally. Yeah.
yeah. Anyway,
Yeah, I'd rather.
I'd rather murder a child.
okay. We can get off this moral relativism topic for a second.
No, I'm not going to let you continue your writing.
Last week, you had 6 pages, and you got so antsy whenever we started talking.
You're like, I gotta get through.
We would be midpoint. You just continue the story.
All right.
All right. Anyway, I'm talking about
Another 100 Chinese guys died. with
I
a
have
sneeze.
final edit. That's why.
That's true. I mean, that's a good
I
point.
do all the work.
Oh, Lord.
Okay, let's see how it is. Anyway, I'm talking about Dan Regester, that piece of
This
shit.
motherfucking show does not exist
Anyway.
without me. They can't turn on cameras. They don't know how to record on a microphone.
We could do it with smoke signals and we could do it with a tape recorder.
We tried it. Grand X.
Far more technologically incompetent people than us have produced podcasts.
Micah, for one.
Yeah.
Wow, just on the main, dude.
He didn't know how to do anything
Just bodied
when
him,
he started.
man.
So
Most people don't know how to do things when they don't know how to do them.
He showed up to a startup just dressed to the nines at first.
Homie had slick hair. His
Slicked
hair
his
looked
hair,
wet.
wore slacks,
Wore
button
pleated
downs.
slacks.
Everyone else is wearing shorts and a T-shirt.
Yeah.
It's like, you're overdressed, my man.
Bro, you're wearing a tie right now.
And then his de-evolution
Yeah,
is one for the books.
into a
Oh
heel.
yeah.
But today,
Became the Battletoad.
It was
bad
almost.
boy.
It was very, very much like a Frank Reynolds de-evolution. You know what I mean?
it really
Like-
was, yeah.
It's the perfect comparison. Yeah.
Yeah, it went from just normal business guy kind of weird to
Yep.
eating cat food to fall asleep
Yep.
fast. But today we're talking about Thomas Midgley Jr., the worst inventor of all time.
Well, hold on. Let me talk about. You know what's funny about the name Thomas?
So
Uh,
Midgley was born Great birthday here. Midgley was born May 18th, 1889 in Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania. So he's a tourist from Pennsylvania, the worst kind.
Was he Amish?
No, he was not.
Was he Quaker?
No. He was actually the son and grandson of two very successful inventors. So invention runs in the family for him. His
He'd
father
take up the family business of dreaming things up and then,
making them.
yeah.
He did. His father, Thomas
Stu
Sr.
Pickles?
Yeah, Stu Pickles had to have been a terrible inventor.
What are you talking
I don't
about?
know how he paid his mortgage.
Yeah, I don't. Dee Dee
They
stayed
had a
at
nice
home.
house. Yeah, she didn't have a job. He barely had a job.
He worked on things in the basement.
Everything was a failure for the most part. That was like a common trope in the episodes.
Didn't the grandpa and the grandpa's brother own a store, and the son's like, there's a history to that.
It was just way easier to own a house back then.
It's true.
Uh,
It was the 90s.
There has actually been talk about. There's an article I saw recently that the Simpsons, they were supposed to be poor, and they were 80s, 90s poor, but the fact that they own a house now makes them
Homer worked at a nuclear
He was a nuclear
power
engineer.
but they were still poor.
Plant. He didn't go to college though.
Yeah, I mean,
He just hit buttons.
Yeah.
He was a blue collar worker.
yeah, he wasn't an exec. He was just a guy working in the
I
factory.
played softball with Ken Griffey and Daryl Strawberry.
Ozzie Smith.
Daryl Strawberry, throw it back. But yeah, his father, Thomas Sr., was an inventor and engineer in the field of automobile tires. He did new inventions on treads and things like that. And even wilder, his maternal grandfather, James Emerson, invented the inserted tooth saw, which that's pretty awesome. That's a type of buzzsaw that has replaceable individual teeth, so you don't have to replace a whole blade every time. It's an excellent invention of the time. People were way less wasteful with the steel. Midgley, wanting to follow in the family trade, attended and graduated from Cornell with a degree in mechanical engineering. All in all, not a bad pedigree or track to start on.
It's a pretty low tier Ivy League school.
Yeah, Cornell's a little overrated.
Well, he's Ivy educated and comes from a line of inventors. He's got the nepotism background too.
It's just barely Ivy educated.
His dad invented.
Also, why are you going to college to invent?
Yeah, just do it.
Yeah, that's a good call. Just invent something.
Yeah, just invent it.
You know, Jack Parsons, who worked on the NASA rockets, sending them up, the guy that pretty much invented rocket science, he just made explosives all the time. He went to college and stuff, but he was really just blowing shit up already.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, he began working in the automobile industry for General Motors in 1916, following in his dad's footsteps. And I guess somewhere along the way, figured he wanted to merge his dad and grandpa's successes by combining the rapidly growing industry of auto works and the absolute danger of a buzzsaw.
Now, hold on. Did he go to World War One?
Did he go to World War I?
Yeah.
No, he's a
Draft
draft
dodger?
dodger.
I don't think this guy went.
Yeah, draft dodger.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Well, how old was he at the time?
if he
He was born in
started,
1889.
he's old enough. He's right there.
True.
Yeah. And
If he started working for GM,
he started working for GM in 1916.
that means he's in his 20s.
Paid his way out.
Yeah.
I don't think he was
Draft-
fighting anything.
Draft dodger.
So he gets assigned to a division.
Are you going to say that about me when I just leave
Dodge
the
the
country?
draft?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Skied out to
When
Canada.
you dodge the draft,
Hell
that's
yeah.
what you will be.
By the way, I we had a group text thread about the Iran launching weak ass drones at Israel the other day, and Dan was like, I don't want to go to war, and I was like, this is actually a sweet time to go to war because my kids are way too young to be sent to die, and I'm almost 40, which means I'll just get some cushy officer
Yeah,
gig.
but you're like, oh, my two co-hosts will die. That's fine.
Yeah, pretty much. And
then
I-
he calls us selfish.
yeah, I think you're being selfish. Just go.
Just
And-
have fun.
But I like it. But you were like, I'm not going to die for your kids. You're not dying for my kids. They're not dying for my children. You're dying in place of my children.
No, that's what I was saying.
Yeah.
I didn't say I was going to die for your children. I would never do that.
yeah, his last thought,
Not
when
even
he's getting
Finn?
smoked by some guy in an Irani military outfit, is not going to be, oh, Finn and Rory. It's going to be like,
It's like,
Chase.
First off, if
I
push
died for Israel?
if push came to shove, you would lay down your life for my children, much as you like to nag me. Secondly,
Not Rory. Finn for sure.
yeah, but
Rory's old enough to take his own bullet.
Yeah. Rory needs to pick up a gun.
Yeah. But yeah, why isn't he shooting?
we're getting used to it. Some bullets landed in our neighborhood today, so
What? When?
there's a property near our neighborhood, and some dude was shooting, and someone posted in our Facebook group that bullets landed while he was in the street around him. And they called the cops, and he heard the gunfire too. And they went to the property next to our neighborhood, and the guy, it's just this living in the country is so stupid. This guy was just like, "Oh, Yeah, I was shooting. I'll try to be more careful.
I guess I shouldn't shoot straight up in the
shells?
air. Yeah.
No,
It had to have been the bullets, like the shells.
It was the bullet. Yeah, it wasn't the shell. It was
shell
the
would
bullet.
be near the guy.
I don't know if they like just flung
He's
crazily.
got a gun that's just shooting the shells out just as fast as the bullets. It's a double gun. That's actually pretty sick.
Wait, why didn't anyone invent that?
Yeah,
you shoot it like a V, right?
Yeah, it's just like it's so you can shoot to your left.
Yeah.
Or you're right, whatever way you hold it. But yeah.
Or he's shooting out of a helicopter, right? Just mowing down hogs, and then the shells are just raining down.
Now that makes sense. Yeah, a little
Yeah.
brass rain. Yeah.
It doesn't sound like this guy was in a chopper. He just had a chopper. He was shooting it straight in the air.
He was
chopper in the chopper.
He was in a chopper hunting pigs. He just thinks anyone who lives in a cookie cutter suburb like mine are pigs, and he was
meant to be slaughtered.
yeah. Which fair enough.
Die up, scum.
Fair enough.
I mean, yes. You just described that you would get a cushy officer job at 40.
Yeah.
And then you would just send me and Jake to die. You'd probably send us, we'd be in your regiment. And you'd be like,
this guy,
front lines.
This guy, Thomas Midgley, wanted us all to die. He was part of a team that was led by Charles Kettering that was researching ways of dealing with engine knock at the turn of the century.
Was it the Sloan Kettering?
Sloan Kettering.
What is that? I don't know what
That's
it is.
a hospital.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it's a university hospital.
I'll check it out.
Yeah. But engine knock, for those that don't know, was a big deal with gasoline-powered engines back in the day. So what would happen is basically like they hadn't figured out how to make fuel burn evenly yet. So like you'd have some of it burning faster than others and getting weird like knocks and explosions that would create like a knocking combustion inside the cylinders, and that would cause engine damage. It was really bad for the cars. And here's the thing with engine knock. They actually had a way to prevent it, but none of it was profitable to oil companies yet.
Yeah.
So, for example, ethanol produced from corn seemed to cure the problem pretty easily, but Big Oil was like, hey, you can run the whole damn car off this. Don't put that in the gas.
Yeah.
We don't need people figuring that out. But, eventually we did. So they actually stymied any research into ethanol for engine knock. They were like, no, don't do that. But during research, not using ethanol, Midgley developed the idea that tetraethyl lead could be a solution for engine knock. Here's the thing about tetraethyl lead. Midgley didn't discover it. It had been discovered in 1854 by a German scientist. Here's another thing about tetraethyl lead. No one with the brain had ever tried to use it commercially because it was known to be incredibly poisonous and is highly absorbable ocularly, dermally, and via inhalation.
So it gets on your skin, you die.
It gets in your skin, it gets into your system.
I want to make a commercial for tetraethyl.
Yeah.
Tetraethyl lead? Yeah, it would be fun. Just hold your breath, close your eyes, and cover yourself up. For fun, here's a list of symptoms that are associated with exposure to this compound. So any exposure to the eyes produces pain, itching, conjunctivitis, blurred vision, and burns. Skin exposure is pretty bad because tetraethyl lead is readily absorbed through skin. So it produces itching, burning, transient redness, and on occasion, skin may begin to look pale.
That's what. Who cares?
Yeah, it couldn't be a problem.
Sounds like you'll be handsome.
Yeah.
Red and pale.
Inhalation exposure. Inhalation is the major route of exposure. Early inhalation effects include sneezing, irritation of the upper respiratory tract, and mild systemic effects. So, like a cough and shit like that.
You're
This
making it
sounds pretty not that big of a deal.
Yeah, it sounds mild.
That's for early exposure. Mild systemic effects include anxiety, lethargy, irritability, nausea, vomiting, headache, tremors, slurred speech, but also euphoria.
Still not moving.
So
me.
a Tuesday for you?
It sounds like I'm sorry. So it sounds like you're getting drunk.
Kinda if you're exposed to it over a long enough period.
Okay, great. Sounds fine.
Moderate effects include disorientation, hyperreflexia, spasmodic muscular contractions, spasticity, extreme fatigue, bradycardia, hypotension, and a couple other heart effects. So moderate, after a while, it's starting to really fuck with your system. You can't control your movements. You get tremors, things like that.
Whatever, dude. How does it move the cars?
How is that different from like ayahuasca? It's not.
It's ayahuasca goes away. This doesn't.
Is
so
it
it's better.
Efficient fuel?
It has nothing to do with fuel efficiency whatsoever. It's just making the engine not go burr. So,
What does it do its job?
it does its job for sure.
No one wants to sacrifice anything.
No.
People are just like, oh, I'd rather hear the engine go.
Well, severe long-term exposure includes complete disorientation with hallucinations, facial contortions, mania, psychotic behavior, violent seizures, which terminate in coma and death. And it's very well known that exposure to this shit does this.
It sounds like it just kind of wakes you up.
It's like a cup
Sheeple?
of coffee. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might actually settle down some of the mechanics.
We'll get into that. So, despite all of this, however, General Motors, Standard Oil, and DuPont loved the stuff, and they called it ethyl gasoline. They removed tetra and lead from marketing it.
Vroom, vroom.
Yeah. All mention of lead it contained was cut from advertising and documentation. The dangers of working with lead were well known at the time, but the corporate sponsors of ethyl gasoline downplayed them because they didn't have lead in the name of the product.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. Wait, haven't they also made it legal again to sell products with lead?
It's not.
Or like paint with lead? Aren't they
They
moving
have
back
one
to
of
that?
those Stanley cups that had lead in them or whatever.
They reduced the regulation on it.
Yeah, the regulation's gone.
It's not gone. It's just they're allowing more.
Sick.
Yeah, which is
Well, if they figured out that, a certain amount of lead doesn't hurt you.
it's no amount of lead is good for you.
Well, everyone needs a little bit of lead.
No.
If you don't have a little bit of lead, how do you build up a lead tolerance?
Mm-hmm.
How do you let the
That's a good
lead
point.
out if you don't have lead in?
Yeah.
That's a better question.
Who let the lead out?
Yeah, you got to let the lead out. But this isn't just a matter of corporate greed. Midgley really wanted to downplay it too for personal gain. In a 1923 phone call, Midgley said to Kettering, Can you imagine how much money we're going to make with this stuff? We're going to make like at least $200 million, maybe more.
That's $1 billion.
That's
at
$1
that
billion in 1923.
point.
Yeah. So while Midgley was totally hell-bent on success, for his credit, he was also a showman. On October 26th, a worker at Standard Oil TEL Bayway in New Jersey, he died of lead poisoning after suffering wrenching fits of violent insanity so bad that the man's last moments of life consisted of him screaming in a straitjacket. Then he died from the lead exposure at the plant.
Sounds like
But
a coincidence.
It sounds like he didn't have enough lead exposure prior to the lead exposure. You're proving my point.
Right.
So if we should have like slow dripped
Yes.
lead.
He would have been fine.
Like the Romans with like wine and
The
stuff.
wine,
Just put a little in there.
shaved lead.
Yeah.
He was exposed too fast.
Well,
Or maybe he was just a bitch.
You can't rule that out.
fair. It's just one guy
It's just
screaming
one
in a
guy.
straitjacket.
Just one guy.
Yeah,
one dude.
that's your data.
Just
one
one guy.
dude.
Hey, pretty anecdotal. I bet you don't have any other examples.
Certainly. Well, obviously, this guy's screaming rampage death created a huge push to shut down work at the plant due to the risk of working with lead.
Like, God damn, dude. Tim was.
I don't know if you were like everyone's like shutting it down for one guy, and they're like, "Did you see him die?"
Did you see Tim? I don't think you understand what Tim was doing.
His last breath was screaming, like in a fucking
Yeah, but what was
straitjacket.
Tim like before this?
He was. He didn't actually. He was mute.
Okay.
The
He was
lead brought the screams out of him.
The switch just flipped.
The first time we ever heard him talk, it was a blood-curdling scream. Well, 4 days later, Midgley heard about the plant shutdown push, and he decided to personally show that there was nothing wrong with leaded gasoline he invented. Midgley gave a demonstration of safety of TEL at a press conference where he held it at the plant in New Jersey in front of all the people that just watched their buddy die.
Right.
He just started vaping it and blowing clouds.
You were so close to what he did.
Huff? Did he huff it?
Midgley got a container of TEL and continuously inhaled the vapors for 60 seconds.
Hell yeah.
While he was doing that and breathing it in, he did a hand washing in it. So he put his hands in the gasoline and
Fuck
just
yeah.
splashed around a little bit.
It's fine.
It's like it's fine. It's
They're
fine.
like, you shouldn't do that with normal gasoline. What are you doing?
It's like, no, this is leaded gasoline.
He
It's
pulled
fine.
out his hands and it was a skeleton.
And it was, shortly after the demo, honestly, wait, hold on. You just got to respect the hustle there. You're washing your hands in
Yeah.
gasoline
Hell yeah.
to prove a point. It's like, I'm going to make so much money, I don't care what happens here.
Yeah, I can buy my way out of insanity.
Yeah.
I'm pro gasoline.
It was weird, though, because he soon, he had a trip the next day, an emergency trip to Florida, because the doctor said he needed fresh air and relaxation due to some breathing difficulties he was having from an unrelated illness.
Did you guys like the smell of gasoline growing up?
Yes.
Always.
I love
I like
It's
it
gone
now.
It's gone though. I feel like it's not the same.
What are you
It's
talking
not-
about?
As a child, I wanted to huff gasoline.
You don't like
oh
the
man,
smell
a
of it
car,
now?
like an old car would drive down the street from like the 70s, and you'd be like,
That was the lead, dude.
"Ugh."
That was
It's
the
fantastic.
It was
There's no drug
glorious.
like it.
lead. Yeah.
People don't understand.
I like the smell of diesel, too.
What?
Diesel fuel.
I don't think I've ever smelled diesel. but I'm
Did
just
something
saying,
happen though over the last couple of years? Because yeah, you were right. It doesn't smell like
you
that
don't
anymore.
get that anymore. I'm just telling you. I don't know, but my theory is, as quality of air goes up, quality of life goes down.
Yeah, you're just living in the moment when the air's shit. You know, it's like you're not gonna sit. No one's stopping and being like, because like you don't want to, and you just keep on going.
So you're saying the best places to live on Earth right now are like China or Mexico City?
Anywhere where you can smell gasoline.
Anywhere close to like a small regional airport,
That's great too.
because that's actually where the most lead exposure is now in the U.S.
Hell yeah.
Because small planes still have leaded gas.
I've heard ports not great to live by either for air quality.
Nah, nothing like not any industrial center where vehicles are coming and going at large scale. You really don't want to live by it.
Even a highway.
Yeah, you shouldn't really live by those.
Shouldn't live near a highway.
Yeah, just kidding though. He got mild lead poisoning and went to Florida to clear up his lungs after the demonstration. But shortly after the demo, 4 more workers died. And then another 35 were treated for serious neurological symptoms.
The other workers died and didn't even touch the gasoline.
Yeah. Also, key word, mild. Is this the strongest man who ever lived?
He might be really strong because you're not going to believe what he does later.
He built up his tolerance.
No, you're a knacko.
I think he built up his lead tolerance.
He
But
might-
go on.
Yeah, he might have, but his other shit he does is pretty cool too. In total, more than 80% of the Bayway staff, the staff he did this at, would die or suffer severe lead poisoning in their lifetime while working there.
'Kay.
80% either had severe enough to like take them out of work for multiple days, or they died. News of these deaths was the first that many Americans heard of leaded gasoline, although it would take a few days because while New York City papers and wire services rushed to cover a mysterious industrial disaster, Standard Oil was like, we don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah,
Nothing
we
bad
don't-
here. Nothing bad here. And GM just didn't even like respond.
It's just like at best, they're just like, we're looking into it. We don't want to draw any conclusions.
I almost guarantee they were like, did you not see Midgley just bathe in that shit? Like, he's fine. He's in Florida
Yeah.
kicking it.
Let the full investigation happen.
Yeah, let's just let all the facts come out.
Exactly. That's what you need to do. But while the product was obviously terrible to work with, no one was thinking of the ramifications of using it as a fuel. What happens when you burn fuel? It makes vapors. What way, as we just learned, is the easiest way for this shit to get into your bloodstream? Breathing it. So,
If you burn something, it goes away.
you going to science me right now, science guy?
Yeah, it's gone.
It's just, what's the smell then?
That's just God.
It's God's whisper that
Yeah.
something else was
It
here
gets
once.
lighter, right?
Mhm.
It goes from a liquid to a gas. So it's out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah, if you can't see it,
It doesn't exist.
it's not there. But yeah, while the product was like bad, for the next 60 years, lead was spread around the world. We're
Like how it just leaded gasoline stuck around for a while.
it stuck around for 60 years.
yeah.
So 2-3 generations.
In fact, like growing up,
96 is when it was banned in the U.S.
yeah, I mean, growing up, they would advertise unleaded gasoline.
Yeah, they still have on a lot of old gas stations still have
Yeah.
unleaded. So, yeah, we realized that this probably led to worldwide population IQ decline. It led to nervous system issues and other health problems associated with lead poisoning across the planet. Rick Nevin, the author of the book The Lucifer Curves, The Legacy of Lead Poisoning, actually found a pretty one-to-one relation between lead pollution and violent crime in America. So,
Is that like a freakonomics thing, kind of?
yeah, all of his
Now,
research.
Jake, did it make the women more curvy?
No, less.
Made it less curvy?
Oh, go on.
I would have thought the opposite.
Well, think what happens. Lead gets taken out of gasoline in 96. What happens in 96? The 90s start ending.
I was going to say the Atlanta bombing.
Also, yeah, that. And
Richard Jewell.
Gators won the national championship in football.
I mean, Spice Girls kind of blown up in 96.
Yeah.
I don't know. Women start to get an ass when J-Lo starts popping her head out.
And think about it. It needs a couple of years for the lead to get out. And so, like, she shows up, like 2000, 2001?
99, yeah, something like that.
Put 2 and 2 together.
Who could
buddy.
say?
Yeah. But all of his data points lead to one thing. Violent crime rose as a result of lead poisoning because of leaded gasoline, and it declined because of lead abatement policies. So Lead emissions from automobiles explain 90% of variation in violent crime in America. Toddlers who ingested high levels of lead in the 40s and 50s were absolutely more likely to become violent criminals in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. And this correlation with the data holds true with like no exception. So every country studied has shown the same strong correlation between leaded gasoline and violent crime rates.
That's why there were so many serial killers in the 70s.
It might be. So within the United States,
Well, also just the murder rate.
the murder rate was insane.
In the 60s, 70s, 80s.
So easy to get away with.
We just poisoned a lot of people.
Yeah. So within the United States, you can actually see the data at the state level where lead concentrations declined quickly, like when states like were being like, fuck, we got to get rid of this stuff.
Yeah.
Crime rates declined with their abatement policies. So like national standard was still going up because not everyone was banning it. But like at a state level, if they had banned it, they would see theirs drop. So it's pretty 1-to-1. Where it declines slowly, crime declines slowly. So the data even holds true at the neighborhood level, which is crazy. They have that data. High lead concentrations correlate so well that you can overlay maps of crime rates over maps of lead concentrations and get an almost perfect fit.
That's fucking nuts.
Yeah. So you guys just talked about it, but the wave of terror in the 60s, 70s, and 80s is likely due to leaded gasoline, and the drop in violent crime in the past decades is likely due to its abatement in 96. So we actually know, like, people are always talking about the world's getting worse, but like if you look at like America crime statistics, especially with violent crime, we're actually
comically dropping off.
We're very safe, like comparatively to like the middle or the 60s through the 80s and into the early 90s.
It's insane.
Yeah, but it seems like they probably have better block parties in the neighborhood.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
You never know when fucking your neighbor's just gonna go off.
Yeah, like going postal. Probably that like trope probably started in the 60s.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you have war vets and shit coming back, breathing leaded gasoline. And I mean, I don't want to be this guy, but like how everyone talks about like boomer shit, like oh, baby boomers, man, they're just like there's something wrong with their brains. They might just be
lead poisoned.
Yeah, it leads to irrationality, it leads to irritability.
They're sociopaths.
Also, there's a certain amount of probably like fetal alcohol situations with that too. I mean, they got poisoned like 8 different ways.
Oh, for
sure.
In
the womb when their
smoking.
fucking parents are just drinking.
Yeah,
and smoking.
secondhand smoke,
in utero smoke.
So hold on. Some combination of fetal alcohol syndrome, less oxygen going to the brain because of constant exposure to secondhand smoke.
And then
lead vapors.
Yeah.
Created the most selfish generation of all time.
They were poisoned.
But yeah, it's pretty fucking bad, dude.
But honestly, no boomer or no millennial or zoomer would care. Like, it'd be like, oh, see what happened? I'm like, well, still. I
actually do kind of like, it's like, no, you have a reason. It's like, hey, man, that's why they had to let the lead out. On the 9 to 5 no repeat workday, you got to let that lead out, dude.
Nah, Rob, we just hate older people.
We're just
every
ageist.
other culture loves their elders. For some reason, we just
Americans
hate old people.
Fucking hate old people.
So we're starting to fill that gap, right? Like, obviously, the boomers are on their way out. Millennials, even what was before Gen X?
Gen X, yeah.
Gen X kind of skates by. Millennials.
Gen X gets away with a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
We are starting to fill that void, though, where people are like, oh, boomers. Or like, the fucking Gen Z, everybody after that hates us.
Also, as bad as, like, well, I don't even think boomers were bad parents. My parents are great.
Yeah, my parents were fantastic.
But as much as people want to blame rightfully boomers for kind of inventing like the participation drill, because they did. I don't know why millennials get shit on for that. Like,
because we were given them by someone else who invented them.
Well, like you're gonna blame the screaming toddler for getting what he screamed for.
Blame all children. Yes,
that's the parents' fault. But however bad boomers were about placating their bratty children, Gen X 10 times worse.
Oh, totally.
Gen X horrible about it.
Okay, well now. You can put the millennials, you can kind of credit them, though, for all these kids coming up with screens. Nothing but screens.
Shut them up.
They're going to be fucking insufferable.
You've heard I had to have mentioned this, right? The conspiracy theory about, like, why Gen Z and, like, Gen Alpha look older. It's weird.
Yeah, the blue light.
The blue light.
Blue light, yeah. It's, like, aging them rapidly. Yeah. And it's like...
That's because of you, Rob.
My kid doesn't get screen time.
Not yet.
But, like, everyone's like, well, I have a screen in my face all the time too. It's like, yeah, but you weren't born with it.
You go on a plane, you go to a restaurant, you don't bring an iPad?
No, we don't even have an iPad. I will only whip out the phone in emergencies. It's actually funny too, because like so I'll go to a restaurant, and sometimes I will play Rory a video just to shut him up, just for the sake of other people around. But what really drives me crazy, and look, I'm not there yet, so I don't know yet. But like a toddler, there's only so much control you have over a 2, 3, 4-year-old, right? Like that's barely a person.
Sure.
When I go to a restaurant and I see like an 8 or a 9-year-old with headphones in, iPad going at a table with their family, like that's a fucking person. Like make them fucking talk to you. That's crazy. That's fucking insane to me. Like Rory and Finn, like they are not controllable. You can do certain things to mediate their behavior.
Sure.
But they're 2 and 1. Like they literally can't understand anything. They barely speak English.
And
one of them,
8-year-old right now, 9-year-old that just went through COVID through like kindergarten, first grade.
yeah.
Oh.
Oh boy.
Like, but
they're gonna have
but
some
like,
real problems.
An 8-year-old, 9-year-old, like they might be a dick, but they understand what you're saying. You can tell them what to do. I can't really tell my children what to do. I can tell Rory what to do to an extent, but he's
He's
kind
gonna
of
test
a
those
wild
boundaries,
animal.
too. Yeah.
But like an 8 fucking 9, I remember being 8 and 9. I know that I will eventually acquiesce to my parents, or I will get in fucking trouble.
Yeah, that's basically it. Like there's gonna be something your parents say to you. You're like, oh shit, I better fall in.
Rory, obviously the 1-year-old doesn't understand shit, and the 2-year-old doesn't really understand punishment yet. So it's hard, much as I try. I'm like, you're being punished.
Right.
As I just like beat him mercilessly.
yeah,
But,
Rob brings out the switch.
Yeah. But like, dude, like when I see like a 9-year-old at a restaurant, headphones on, iPad going, like that's pathetic. That's pathetic.
It's
to me.
really like it's even crazier because like I think it's even with the 8 and 9. I think you see it at like 11 and 12 now too. Like these kids that are like middle school.
Oh, I'm just saying 8, 9.
Yeah.
Even 5 is wrong.
No, for sure. But like I think it's even crazier that like I'm seeing like middle school age people. Like
It's wild though, because Rob's been passed down from generation after generation. This old leather strap that he got beat with, his dad got beat with, his
It
father
used to
before him
work.
got beat with.
used to work. No, but
Used to.
But there's a lot of blood on that fucking strap.
It's yeah.
Like I
It's
can't
stained.
tell you, like when I was just eating out in like Florida and shit, and I was looking around, like so many like families all on their phones.
Why are you eating out your wife in front of a bunch of families?
Haha.
Got it.
Clip that one.
He pleases his wife. He's a good husband.
Yeah, that's true.
Sorry, at the
When
RV.
when she wants it, you
You'll say no.
I'm sorry, that was hack. I'll kill myself.
Yeah, you should. Seppuku. Yeah. No, just join the war with us.
I mean, I will be your commanding officer.
I don't think he's going to pass basic.
You got to do like one pull up, I think.
I'll do a pull up right now.
I bet.
Show me a
What do you
place to
think?
do a pull-up.
What percentage of the population in America right now can do one pull-up?
One? Oh, that's a good question.
For men? Well, I know for the presidential physical fitness test, women doing one pull-up was a passing grade.
You got presidential.
We did do 12.
Yeah, I thought that was horse shit.
Little
And
bit.
then like flexed arm hang, you could do that if you wanted. And
I
but
would
you could never get
say
presidential.
women, though, I think only like 5% could do one pull-up.
Only 5%.
Maybe higher.
It's got to be 1%.
But then why would they make the presidential physical fitness test only one?
they're children. That's for like 12. People stop
Should
doing
be
that.
easier to pull yourself up. You're lighter.
But your
arm strength, is
muscle
so
development's
much
not
less.
there. Yeah.
Carrying something with my wife is the worst.
12 pull-ups.
Do you think your wife can do one pull-up?
No.
Are we talking chin up or pull up too?
Pull-up. Yeah.
Overhand.
Overhand.
I don't think
Definitely not.
Actually, I think
Chin-ups are easier.
Yeah, chin up. I think a lot of people can do a chin up. I don't know how many people can actually do a pull up.
U.S. population, I would say, and I think this is still high, 12%.
I think you're probably right. A pull up is hard.
I'm confident I can do a pull-up, and I'm certainly in the worst upper body strength shape of the three
How many
of us.
pull-ups can you do?
Oh, I'm
Do you
not doing
think?
more than one right now.
You can't do more than one?
I'd probably do two, dude. I'm
What?
Not, yeah, it's not
Well,
good right now.
I don't know.
Pull up, chin up. I can do more
I
chin
could
ups.
probably do easily 20 pull-ups.
You work out.
Yeah,
A
you
lot.
lift every day.
And if I was really pushed to it, like there's lava underneath or something.
You cannot do more than 20.
I could push myself to do like 25.
Full good form pull ups.
Yeah.
pull up, I think I could maybe
I don't want you to push that
Just
because
'cause
your arm's gonna get weird.
just because I lift my children constantly. maybe 2.
I have a really strong back though.
That's true.
I do the full rack, like on lat pull downs and everything.
You do them right.
Mhm.
Well,
But I definitely know my wife can't do any.
hey,
But does 12% sound right?
for a proper form pull up, you might actually be right.
So it's a
Just
pull up is no jump. You're just on the bar, feet off the ground.
and you pull up to your chin and then release down.
All the way back down.
Yeah.
But I go all the way to my
Bar.
bar hits chest.
I'm gonna go 20% chin over the bar.
Okay.
I think it's chin up like half. Chin up's easy.
50%? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's 50% chin
Maybe.
up. Like, actually, you know what? No. Anyway, that's for another show.
This is why JFK was trying to get us into physical fitness.
That's why they killed him.
That's why. It's like we need
The
a
sugar
that.
lobby, the corn syrup lobby.
Why did we never talk about that? There's got to be a correlation.
That used to be
right?
the
Yeah.
intro for Substock.
That's why.
Yeah, it was.
That's who also started the Michelle Obama as a man stuff because they didn't want. They were
The corn
angry.
syrup lobby?
Yeah, they were angry
because she
about
was
her,
trying to get the kids healthy at the
Oh,
school.
and they
dude.
were like, "Oh, she's too jacked. I bet she's a dude."
It's like, no, she's just healthy.
Yeah,
she's a
she's-
healthy
she's in shape.
woman who I would definitely bang. 10
That's
out of
such
10
a
times.
weird like conspiracy.
I'll tell you, there's
lot of-
only one reason people like
I know
color,
why.
man.
Yeah.
I really don't drop this genuinely often, but it's just racist.
It's
like
Yeah.
racial.
people
That was
are-
racist.
people just it's essentially like the same reason you call someone I'll probably get in trouble with this. I don't care. Actually, it's gonna get me in trouble. I feel bad saying this, but cuck replaced fag, right? Cuck,
Oh, that was a 1-for-1
Yeah.
replacement.
That's
They're
a
like,
wo-
we
so you
can't
could say
say
it on
fag
TV.
anymore, so we
Say
say
cuck.
cuck. Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
funny to me because that's the anti-PC crowd. So it's like, why are you not being a? Or
Why
are
don't
being
you
a pussy?
just say the word?
Just
You
be a
yeah,
man.
say what you mean to say.
No, it's because they don't.
They mean to, you say you call Michelle Obama a man because you afraid you get in trouble if you call her like a gorilla or something.
or a monkey. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's 1,000%
Same
what
thing.
they're doing. No, they're
Same
cowards.
thing.
They're cowards.
It's cowardice.
Yeah.
From the crowd that's like, I should be able to say whatever I want. Then do it. Then do it.
Yeah, you're too cowardly.
Be the change you want to say in the world. Be in the world, you fucking pussy.
I think be the change you want to say in the world is pretty
Yeah.
funny.
Say
actually.
say whatever you want, but also just because there's consequences for what you say doesn't mean you got
can't say it. You can
Canceled.
absolutely say it.
I
don't know who we're preaching to right
I'm
now.
not even gonna just dunk on like right wing anti PC people who work for that. The amount of fucking annoying little twee leftists I have seen who want to be told they're doing something brave for their little protests or whatever, but then get consequences. The consequences that would make it brave for them to be doing it. Right? They want to do something brave without any consequences, which would make it not brave.
like getting shot in the arm.
Because if you're doing something brave, you're doing it despite dire consequences and shit like that. But they're like, what? Like they're mind blown that there could be consequences for their rash quote brave actions or whatever. It drives me
I
insane.
think what we learned today is everyone's a pussy.
Everyone's a bitch.
I don't know, man. I think everyone's kind of cool.
I like most people.
I
No,
like a
everyone's
lot
a
of people.
pussy, and only 12% of the population can do a pull up.
Yeah, we mathed that out here. But
But all three of us,
Yeah, all of us can do pull ups.
oh, we're cool.
I can do the
cool
pull ups
everyone.
for you guys.
we're brave. and
Yeah,
cool.
we got Dan to do.
I know. That's why we're sending you to war, you
Yeah.
idiot. What do you fucking think is going on here?
Why do you think you got strong all these years?
True.
Me and him are gonna like do spreadsheets.
I need to
Speaking
get
of,
thinner though, so I don't get shot.
speaking of
Sure, you gotta get that.
I don't want a
speed up.
purple
Get that
heart.
cardio up.
Speaking of someone who doesn't want the consequences, Mister, I just kind of wish I was a Viking or whatever, and then someone asks you to do Viking shit, and all of a sudden it's
It's not Viking shit though. Getting blown up by a drone is not Viking shit.
No, it's really not. Also, you can't do Viking shit with the Geneva Convention.
a lot of Viking shit's
Yeah,
outlawed.
that kind
yeah.
of
a lot of
ended the-
Viking shit got
ended the
put
Viking
on the
shit,
cutting room
yeah.
floor. Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know if people are aware, but when people are like, "I'm joining the army to see the world," it didn't mean like go on adventures. It meant like sleep with the world. Anyway, leaded gasoline was not the only truly terrible thing Midgley invented. That was just his start.
hell yeah.
In 1930, Thomas Midgley found that dichlorodifluoromethane could be used as a refrigerant gas.
Is that the stuff that was in the original Jack?
Is this chlorofluorocarbons? He blast a hole in the ozone.
This was quickly commercially manufactured as Freon 12 by Kinetic Chemicals, where he was the director. This compound being put into commercial use is one of the first examples of a chlorofluorocarbon used in mass for commercial applications.
Yeah.
If you weren't aware, CFCs, or chlorofluorocarbons, are directly responsible for destroying. Actually, this is not bullshit like hippie science. This ripped a hole in the ozone layer.
Oh, you want to know who regulated it?
Republicans.
Reagan.
Yeah.
Reagan stopped the ozone bleed.
I generally think like global warming is natural for the most part. Maybe we're expediting it a little bit, but yeah, that's definitely a thing that happened.
I think the
Ripping holes in ozone.
ozone, we definitely did that, but I think it's like to call anything like global warming is kind of reductive. Like we have definite effects on the natural environment.
Yeah, but I
Right.
also like we've discussed before. I think it's better than global cooling.
It's-
Maybe we're gonna backdoor our way into saving the world.
I don't think it's going to have anything to do with temperature as much as it's going to do with like the chemicals we can't get out of the water and the fucking like I mean everyone in this country has the shit that's in nonstick pans in their blood that they can't
Oh,
get
everything's
rid of.
terrible right now.
Yeah.
Food's awful. I mean,
Oh, food's
we've
the-
overfished the oceans.
The food is the worst thing, man. Like have you ever seen the shit where like they put ice cream out now on like they'll leave it out for 24 hours and it's not fully melted? Like that shit's just like you can put out like a Walmart like ice cream sandwich, you know, like the classic what do you call them? Like Carvel, just a little chocolate wafers with vanilla ice cream.
You can blow up a Big Mac with C4 and not a dent.
Dude,
It just takes it.
yeah.
What are you guys whining about? That we're constructing our food better?
We're not. Like, you know,
Genetically modified food. It's better for you.
like the shit, there's just like a million things and everything.
Also,
like, why can't we
it's-
just have dairy ice cream? Why can't we just have milk ice cream?
We're getting too preachy.
Yeah, we are. We are. Anyway,
I like, by the way, having nonstick pan chemicals in my blood.
makes it actually is better for
Lubricates the veins.
Yeah, you don't get as much
It doesn't stick
blockage.
To your,
Yeah.
yeah. You don't have a coronary because you have the
right.
nonstick. in you.
Non-stick.
Yeah, and you know what's
People need to fucking think before they speak.
God damn, you're right. But anyway, I want to just say this guy again as a showman goes back to to demonstrate that CFC gas was safe. He inhaled a large amount of Freon and blew out a candle flame to show it was non-toxic and non-flammable.
I love this guy.
Therefore,
Did he
safe.
set
What do
the
you
fucking
even-
factory
I
on fire?
love this guy.
What are we even mad at? Like, this is like your drug dealer proving your Coke doesn't have fentanyl in it, even though it does have fentanyl in it, and he just does a massive gator tail.
Yeah.
Like a fucking
He's just-
crocodile tail.
He just has a tolerance.
Like,
Sorry,
yeah.
sorry, he's a hoss.
Right.
Like,
What do you? How can you be mad at the drug dealer at that point?
Yeah, I mean, this guy definitely made all the chemicals that were terrible for everyone. I mean, no, like it's funny to me that his go-to was like, "You think this isn't safe? I'm gonna huff it."
Yeah.
Like he was just like, "I'm gonna huff it."
I'll do it.
But he got rich from this. Like he became a very successful person.
Did he live a long life? I don't think he's a bad inventor if he lives a long life.
And
we get to his last invention soon.
I don't think. Look, he earned his money.
He earned his money. In his later years, Thomas Midgley received a series of awards and was elected president and chairman of the American Chemical Society. However, his end is so perfect, it almost sounds fake. In 1940, at the age of 51, Midgley contracts polio. So,
What?
yeah, he contracts polio. So he doesn't get got by anything that he created.
He just went to a public swimming pool.
Yeah, you got some polio. So the disease left Midgley disabled and in need of constant help.
When was the vaccine?
I don't know when.
Or right aroround that time.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
was say, didn't he get the shot?
this guy, he's
Anti-vaxxer.
probably huffing Freon, but like, I'm not putting that needle in me. Like, give me the. It's like
What'd you say? 51?
51. He gets polio.
55.
Oh no, I'm sorry. In 1940, he gets polio at the age of 51. So
Yeah.
as a
Oh,
combat-
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
he was well before that then.
So he becomes disabled and in need of constant help because of his polio. So what does he do? Being the inventor he is, he invents a pulley system to help himself get out of bed without any help. This would turn out to be his final invention because on November 2nd, 1944, Midgley died of asphyxiation at the age of
He
55
hung himself?
after his own invention
tangled up.
strangled him to death when it entangled itself around his neck. So the pulley he used to pull himself in and out of bed, he
Are we sure he didn't just hang himself?
might have just hung himself, but
No, I
think he just
think it was a whoopsie daisy. Yeah. I'm just saying, like, props to this guy for drinking his own poison.
Hey man, he took the hits.
Also, a pulley system for a man with polio sounds like a good idea.
Okay.
It probably wasn't a bad idea.
Look at it this way. Yes, let's go back to the World War example. I'll redeem myself here, right? Yes, I am your guy's commanding officer. And despite the fact,
It's not even stolen valor. It's like hypothetical valor he's giving himself now.
despite the fact that there are 20 Chinese laser machine gun nests across from our trench,
Right.
Why are we in
I
a trench?
pull out my saber and order a charge. Okay?
Time to do Viking shit.
But we all charge, but I'm at the front of that charge. I'm still at the front of that charge. Okay?
But it's a hologram of you.
And you guys get riddled with lasers and die horribly. I get shot in the leg, though, and I have to go back and get a Purple Heart, and I'm a hero.
Dude,
But, I was at the front of that charge.
I am like giga-fragging you before that ever happens. Like whatever the laser beam equivalent of a frag grenade is.
Yes.
I was at the front of that charge, and it hurt. It really did hurt.
No, as I'm laying dying, I'm taking my gun and taking you out.
There, as you're laying dying,
There's
they're
no laying dying.
There's laser nests, dude.
I don't think so. I feel like I'm burning alive like Darth or Anakin at the end of
Do you think
episode 3.
Do you think with the World
literally
Wars,
screaming, "I hate you! I hate you!"
World War III, like they finally, like with the UAP stuff, they're like, actually, this is all just like our new tech. Like I wouldn't be surprised.
Probably.
I saw something when they were shooting stuff over Israel that was like taking out rockets, and it was just like 3 beams of light doing
Yeah,
somersaults.
they use lasers.
Yeah, but like this was like
I've been getting
It
some
looks like a
weird
craft as
headaches out of nowhere at airports.
do you go to airports after you drink?
No.
Probably all the microwaves that you walk.
That's what I'm thinking. It's the microwaves.
Yeah, that's probably it. You can actually say you don't want to walk through the X-ray. The like full
Full body scan.
full body scan. You can just go through a metal detector and get a pat
Do you
down.
think they just compare penises?
That's all they do.
They see your penis.
They're just getting a national database on penises.
Yeah, they want to know who's the biggest threat.
I kind of want to. Man, I don't know. I'm gonna do this from now on. Like, obviously, I'm probably not gonna have an erection, but I'm still just gonna belt tuck my wiener before going through, just so it's standing up.
Or tuck it back.
Or that, yeah.
Or put your balls in front of your dick.
Oh,
Just to, like
Balls
give
only.
them a little Picasso.
Yeah.
There was a while there where every time I went through that, I was patted down in the crotch for a good year.
Well, they got rid of the thing that could make you see your dick, so they say. They say they got rid of that.
But it was a
tab.
hot spot for a while. I didn't understand it.
Yeah.
I do.
They get
It's good dick.
They
I
get a
was
hand on the.
violated.
They get a hand on the hams.
Yeah, I was
Touch the booty?
violated many times at an airport by TSA.
What'd you guys learn today?
I misleaded gas.
You miss it.
It smelled good.
Did smell good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I learned that you can sell anything if you drink it first or huff it first. Or
I
whatever.
think that's the mark of a good salesman. Like, I'm gonna huff this shit. It's fine. Under like intense media pressure, he's like, no, it's all good. Like he just goes out and like starts putting it on like cologne and breathing.
It is
in.
funny that people are like, well, I mean, I don't know. It
He's
seems like it's bad, but that guy just fucking inhaled it.
Yeah, I bet like all the people at GM were like, dude, you don't have. Oh,
He's
okay,
just gonna do it.
all right, cool, thank you. Yeah,
Love him. I love him for it.
I did learn that the guy that invented leaded gasoline also invented chlorofluorocarbons. Like that was the craziest thing to me.
Was poisoning Earth.
Yeah, he's the biggest. Like he might be the biggest poisoner of anyone. Like as far as like toxic release.
He might low key be responsible for more deaths than
Your boy.
Probably not.
probably not.
Probably
him.
not actually. No, a lot
But,
of murders, but
He is like, you'll find like a random person on like a all-time stat leader list, like at like 8th or something.
yeah, and
You're like, oh damn, I didn't realize he did all that.
Yeah.
Or the RBI leader,
Yeah,
Hank
yeah.
Wilson. That
Yeah.
You clearly didn't know.
No,
we'll never die.
How do you not know the all-time RBI leader?
it's just not something baseball cares about, which is weird.
Why would they track it then?
RBI? It's
Yeah.
an important stat. Run batted in.
You just
Oh.
said it's not important to baseball.
No. It's like the
whatever
all-time
fits Rob's
leader,
narrative.
the all-time single season leader. For whatever reason, no one cares about the RBI record. Probably because it's like unbreakable.
That is weird. Yeah, it's weird that no one really cares about that stat.
No one
'cause
even
it's-
cares about all-time RBI leader overall.
But
You
it
know who
also
that
seems
is?
like one of the most important stats.
It is
Yeah,
I batted in this many runs,
probably the most important stat. Like literally.
yeah.
and no one cares.
You know who's the most?
Who?
Hank Aaron. and it's never going to be broken. There's only 5 people who have more than 2,000
So many
RBIs.
Hammer and Hanks.
Yeah.
Who's Hitler?
This fucking guy, I guess.
Dan doesn't want to say it.
Honestly, it was the guys that didn't have the tolerance.
Couldn't handle the lead.
Fucking died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I would say like DuPont. It's just like an evil company.
DuPont's an easy one to go to, especially with the like whole Foxcatcher thing aside.
Monsanto,
Yeah.
any one of those companies.
The whole DuPont family, we could probably do an entire
Standard
episode
Oil,
of that.
maybe.
Standard Oil, which is now Exxon, yes.
Although
Or
I'm
no,
pro-
actually Shell.
I'm pro gas though.
It's either Exxon or Shell.
I
can't
like
remember.
gas.
No, it's Exxon.
I'll never get an EV vehicle. You can take my fucking gas-powered vehicles out of my cold dead hands.
I won't get an EV vehicle, and I won't get anything that I can't. Like, if it has a self-driving feature, I guess sweet, but I will never get anything I can't pilot myself.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah. I don't want any of that nonsense.
That's going to be a real issue in our lifetime.
It literally is going to be an issue.
I want to be. I want the right to drive myself.
Yeah. People, oh, what? You still need roads to get places, idiot. It's not like you can just drive over. It's just people like me awful.
Yeah.
I already know people in my life who are going to make the arguments I'm waiting to hear.
That it's selfish of you to want to drive your own car.
Yes.
Yeah. No, those are just that argument's just before it's selfish of you to not upload your consciousness for your grandchildren.
We had a option at the rental place because we do everything last second when we were going from Nashville to Augusta, and they had 2 vehicles. One was a truck, one was an EV vehicle. Like, oh, you sure you don't want the electric vehicle? It's like, we gotta charge it to make it all the way to Augusta from Nashville. Like, probably. I'm like,
Pass.
No.
Hell no.
Then no.
I don't want to be in any vehicle where if it runs out of like battery or it's low on battery and like I have to sit there at a sketchy gas station. I can't just fill up and like leave.
Yeah.
I
We don't have the infrastructure for it.
no.
Not
Anyway,
yet, at least.
I don't. I'll say like EVs are probably fine for like city driving where it's like there's
Yeah,
a bunch of stuff, but like cross country,
Road
No.
trips, fuck no.
no, like if you're driving a lot, you don't want that. But yeah, that's our show for today, guys.
Plus
Thanks so
that
much for listening.
sweet, sweet smell of gasoline.
Yeah, you get
Need
the
that.
sweet smell of gasoline.
Mm.
But that's our show for today. Thanks so much for listening. Please leave a review. I know we're very close to 1,000. We need 1,000 though,
Let
so
me
Dan can drink.
again.
What? How far are we?
We're like
I'll double check.
18 away.
We're
Oh, that's so close.
Yeah, we're at
guys,
like 982 or something.
guys,
come on now.
give us 18.
Yeah, I'll read some reviews next week.
Yeah,
Yeah, we did last week.
we will read some next week. Hopefully, we will be at 1,000 for Daniel.
Yep, patreon.com/softcorehistory. Softcore history for merch.
Softwarehistory.com for merch. Yeah, tell your friends. Get on the
Please.
Patreon.
Make us grow.
And for Dan Regester and Rob Fox, I'm Jake Goldman.
You just got saw served.